morning, students of SS2. I mean students of the History Department. Daniela, Jesus, Obama, Cindy, good morning and welcome to this segment of our lesson. Today we have to continue with the First Republic after the First World War in Germany, known as the Weimar Republic. And we have to look at precisely the impact of the Treaty of Versailles on this young republic. How did the Treaty of Versailles affect this young republic? That is what we have to look at today. Because it's very important, and I very want to believe that there is none of you who could not score a 15 on 20 in case any question comes from Versailles, because that was the very first topic we treated after the First World War. So, looking at the impact of the Treaty of Versailles on the Weimar Republic, we shall first of all examine what the army, what they thought about, because this treaty became very unpopular, became unpopular to most Germans. Mostly the Spartacists. I told you who the Spartacists were. The Spartacists was a political party which was more of communists. They had the character of a communist party in Russia. So the opposition of this young government was mounted by the Spartacists, who later changed their name to the German Communist Party. This party actually brought disturbance, chaos, unrest to bear on this Weimar Republic. And the German army did not like the disarmament clauses of the Treaty of Versailles. Mostly when it limited the number of military men to 100. It did not like. Meaning that most of the German army would not be employed. They will not be employed. And these people will form potential group that can perpetrate disturbances in the economy. So they mostly hated these disarmament clauses that limited the number of troops to 100. So many soldiers now who were not recruited now have to join the free corps as a way of continuing their military life. You should know, what do you understand by the free corps? The free corps was, a group of ex-soldiers and those military men who were not incorporated in the German army following the restrictions or the limitations of the Treaty of Versailles. There were a group of soldiers, ex-men, who shared strong anti-communist feelings. They did not want the Communist Party to exist in Germany, and they had the taste of violence. They were just there, ready to ignite any violence when the time was due. So the Free Corps should know that the soldiers who were not incorporated into the army had to join the Free Corps, who were pro-government. That means they wanted to help the government to disband or to set away the communist disturbances in Germany. Or they were equally a volunteer, force. They were a volunteer force who could be called at any time by the German government, the Weimar government, to at least assist in putting down the riot. Mostly the Spartacists uprising, because like I said, the Spartacists formed the threat of this young republic, which finally made it very, very unpopular. And they were armed, well equipped, and there were about 4,000 of them. So you should know what the Free Corps was all about. Now, we have seen the army. Now let us look at the impact on the German economy proper, because this is very, very important in the economy. How did the Treaty of Versailles, how did it impact the economy of Germany? Mostly this young Weimar Republic. One, Germany had lost most of her territories. To begin with, in Europe, I told you people class. Alsace and Lorraine was seized from Germany and handed to France. That's what I told you. You should not doubt. You have Moresnet and Marnet were seized from Germany and handed to Belgium. And then in the eastern part of Europe, we saw Latvia, Estonia, Bessarabia, and Lithuania. All of them were seized from Germany and made independent states. A host of territories, and you know the importance of territories to a nation, mostly in this period. They get the raw materials, and those territories act as a ready market to sell their manufactured goods. So denying them, these territories need a lot of economic handicap. So it means that Germany was on her knees. Then, in Africa, her territories were seized and skillfully placed under the League of Nations for 15 years. During which time a plebiscite could be conducted, or they could be given their independence, depending what we call Mandate B territories handed over to the League of Nations, to Britain and France, to control them as custodian. In Africa, we know Cameroon, my country, was annexed by Germany in 1884. Now, today we have Tanzania. By that time, it used to be Tanganyika. Ethiopia and other territories, Central Africa, West Africa, and Southern African states that were under Germany were seized and put under the League of Nations as Mandate B territories. We know the importance of these territories, these colonies to the colonial masters. The Germans were denied the merchant navy. The merchant navy was those battleships that were involved in carrying goods and services for naval upkeep. They were denied these rights. And most importantly was the issue of reparations. Reparations was imposed on Germany after the Treaty of Versailles had been completed. In 1921, a reparation commission was set, which came out with the amount of 6,600 billion British pounds sterling as amount to be paid by Germany for reparations. We know what it meant. How did she get this money to pay reparations to mostly France and Belgium when all her territories, her colonies have been seized? So these reparations now brought an untold hardship to the German economy. Because instead of getting money to rebuild the economy, is to get this money to pay as damages or compensations for war indemnity, which was not easy. Now, the first amount of reparations, the first installment was paid in 1921. And by 1922, the German government failed to pay reparations because it was not easy. But the French refused to see that it was not easy to keep paying these reparations as had been programmed by Versailles. They said Germany was just bluffing and does not want to respect the terms of the reparation agreement. So, French troops and Belgian troops had to occupy the raw industrial zone. The raw industrial zone. This was where Germany used to get, or is an area where Germany used to get her raw materials to manufacture things and sell and pay reparations. But since she defied paying reparations in 1922, by 1923, the French and the Belgian troops attacked and occupied this area, the raw industrial zone, by January. This brought another trouble because there was violence and shooting in that area, killing many of the miners, the Germans working in those mines. And the French expelled 100,000 Germans, chased them away from that area, creating more problems, compounding and creating existing bad situation. So this was not all. We realized that given this, the economy had failed. When the Weimar Republic needed money to even feed these people in the raw industrial area, it came to happen. And the French and the Belgians were to collect the coal worth the amount of money Germany was to pay as reparation. So, what happened? a result of what? The printing of money as a result of devaluation. The German mark failed. So German had to resort to the printing of another money called Rente mark. The Rente mark was put in place and the German mark was devalued. It became a point where the Germans had to resort to what? Bartering system, what you call trade by barter, is a system which was practiced in the early years when something has not been formed as a currency. Was formed, which was a step of exchanging goods for goods or exchanging goods for other services, and that was an archaic system which also brought its own problem, the barter problems. So, given these are the problems that rocked or hampered the smooth movement of a new republic that was born after the dust of the First World War had settled. And it so happened that by the end of 1923, the Germans had to elect or appointed Gustav Stresemann as the German Chancellor. Stresemann came, and at least, even though his government was short-lived before he was assassinated, but he came and struggled to stabilize the economy. What did he do? He struggled to replace the German mark with the Rente mark, even though this one was for a temporary period, a provisional period. He replaced the German mark with the Rente mark, and he had to go about signing treaties, bilateral treaties with America, with Britain, and other countries now to get money to support the economy. Some minor industries for basic goods were constructed. Employment opportunities to a certain extent was generated, and he was trying to stabilize the economy until he met his demise when he was killed by members of the Spartacist group. So I think for today, this is where we draw the curtain close, and you have to read because you are examination class. What the teacher we are doing is just to do about 40% of the work, 60% is on your head. This is my own bit I have just done. But I will ask you to open your books and read. What I'm saying, there are things that are in your book. So it's for you now to read. Any question you ask, anything, any difficulty, you come closer. So it's on this note that we have to end this lesson. And next time, we have to see how Gustav Stresemann struggled to stabilize the German economy. So until then, goodbye.